In many Chinese film and TV works with female leads, you often see stories where the female lead stays in a large house and competes with wits in courage against her mom and half-sister. These are satisfying dramas, but compared with the real power women in history, they are too conservative. Let's talk about Emperor's grandmas, the group of Grand Empress Dowagers. First, there were many Grand Empress Dowagers in history. Starting from the Han Dynasty to the Qing Dynasty, there were at least more than 50 of them. However, most of these Grand Empress Dowagers just lived a retired life. They were like background figures and had little influence. After all, they were at the age of the emperor's grandmother, so fewer of them were active compared with Empress Dowagers. When it comes to fame, the one people know best is probably the one from the Qing Dynasty, who often called herself Xiaozhuang in TV dramas, Empress Xiaozhuang. But even a well-known figure like Xiaozhuang was not as legendary as another Grand Empress Dowager. That person was Feng, the civilized Grand Empress Dowager of northern Wei, who could both keep male favorites and govern the country well. After the western Jin dynasty fell, the northern region became a mess during the 16 Kingdoms period. After the many regimes, there was a great Yan established by the Wurong clan of the Xianbei people. This great Yan was exactly the state that Wurong Fu wanted to restore in Jin Yong's novel Demigods and Semi-Devils. Wurong Fu ignored Wang Yuyan and focused all his energy on restoring his state. But in history, the Yan state was even more fragmented than the situation of Louis XVI's execution. It was like JFK's skull scattered everywhere. There were former Yan, later Yan, southern Yan, and northern Yan appearing one after another. During the northern Yan period, the Wurong family had already started to decline. Later, they even lost the throne. After Wurong Yun, the adopted son of Emperor Huimin of later Yan, was killed by his guards. A Xianbei military general named Feng took the throne and became the second emperor of northern Yan. So in this way, the Yan state of the Wurong family fell into the hands of the Feng family. Northern Yan had little influence in history. After Feng died, the Feng family fought among themselves. Northern Yan could not stand this internal strife and was finally destroyed by Ba Tao, Emperor Taiwu of northern Wei. All members of the Feng family were taken to northern Wei, but Ba Tao never thought that his own court would later be controlled by this captured Feng family. Feng Hong, the younger brother of Feng Ba, had a granddaughter. She used to be a maid working in the palace. Maybe she was really beautiful. She immediately attracted the attention of Ba Jun, the grandson of Ba Tao and later Emperor Wen Cheng of northern Wei. In 456, this young Feng, only 14 years old, was suddenly promoted to be Emperor Wen Cheng's empress. Emperor Wen Cheng did not live long. Less than 10 years after their marriage, he passed away. So at the age of 23, Feng became the Empress Dowager of northern Wei. During the southern and northern dynasties, there were many surprising capable children who entered the court at the age of 11 or 12. After all, satisfying novels still follow some logic, but reality often has no logic at all. Although Feng was favored by the emperor, she did not have a son. At that time, northern Wei had a tradition. Once a kid was chosen as the heir to the throne, his biological mom would be sent away, killed. Since Feng had no children, she was not affected. On the other hand, Li, the biological mother of Ba Hong, who was chosen as the heir, suffered a lot. She became a sacrifice for her son's throne. After Ba Hong's biological mother was given a death order, the young crown prince was handed over to Feng for upbringing. This Ba Hong was later Emperor Xianwen of northern Wei. He ascended the throne when he was only 11 years old. At that time, Yi Hun, the general of chariots and cavalry of northern Wei, thought the young emperor was just a decoration. He also thought Empress Dowager Feng was just a lucky mascot. He believed that the court of northern Wei had to rely on him. Soon, he took over the power of newly ascended young emperor. Although Tuo Bahong was young, Empress Dowager Feng was not a kid anymore. She quietly gathered a group of people to kill Yi Hun. After that, she took charge of state affairs as Empress Dowager. Feng was not just a person who held power. Her greatest achievement was promoting the Hanization reform of Northern Wei. This reform promoted the integration of the northern regions and made a great contribution to China's development in the future. But at that time, Feng was still very young. Since ancient times, when a young Empress Dowager became a widow, it was seen as a waste of her status and resources if she did not have secret relationships. But Feng did not just find any capable man to keep her company. The men could serve her had to meet strict requirements. They not only had to be good-looking, but also come from a good family background. They needed to be educated and have political talents. Because being intimate with Feng was just their night job. During the day, they also had to help her govern the country. Under such strict requirements, a man named Li Yi came to Feng's life. Li Yi had a good family background. He was from a famous and noble family. He was very tall and handsome. Since his family was wealthy, he had many talents. He could paint and play the instruments well. Besides, he had read books and was not illiterate. He could even give Feng some small suggestions on state affairs. So this high-quality man became a favorite who served Feng day and night. However, the person who hated this kind of relationship most was usually the young emperor. When the news of Feng and Li Yi's relationship spread more widely and the rumors became more unpleasant, Emperor Xianwen could not stand it anymore. Just at that time, someone reported Li Fu, Li Yi's elder brother. The accuser said Li Fu had secret contacts with the southern Qi regime in the south and was suspected colluding with foreign forces. Taking this chance, Tuo Bahong, Emperor Xianwen, killed both brothers. The death of her beloved male favorite was like a bolt from the blue for Feng. But Feng was not like the Empress Dowager Zhao of the Qin dynasty, nor like the Empress Dowager Hu of the northern Qi dynasty, who could not live without men. Feng was a person who focused on her career. The intimate relationships were just extras for her. The death of her male favorites was not just the loss of someone she loved. The most important thing was that the young emperor was gradually getting out of her control and began to confront her. This was what Feng could not tolerate. So, she used her status as Empress Dowager to force Emperor Xianwen to give up his power. Emperor Xianwen was a monarch with skills and abilities, but he had a somewhat Buddhist personality. In his early years, he spent time with people who studied metaphysics. They talked about poetry, songs, and even life philosophy. Later, he even started to observe the stars, focusing on astronomy. So, when facing the Empress Dowager's pressure, he really chose to abdicate. He passed the throne to his son Tuo Bahong, later Emperor Xianwen, and became the retired emperor. But after abdicating, the retired emperor did not live a life like Li Yuan, Emperor Gaozu of the Tang dynasty, who spent his time having more sons after abdication. On the contrary, he still firmly held the power he had before. So, after abdication, the conflict between the retired emperor and the Empress Dowager did not ease. Instead, it became more intense, like a bowstring pulled tight, ready to snap at any moment. Earlier, because of Li Yi's incident, Feng's reputation of liking good-looking men had already spread. At that time, the southern Qi regime specially sent a handsome man named Liu Zuan as an envoy to northern Wei. Since Liu Zuan was very good-looking, he also became a guest in Feng's bed. This handsome man used this kind of bedroom diplomacy and really brought peace between northern Wei and southern Qi. Besides, even though Li Yi was killed, Feng still needed someone to comfort her in her personal life. So soon, two new male favorites came to her side. One was Wang Rui, and the other was Li Chong. These two men could not only make Feng comfortable at night, but also help her deal with government affairs during the day. It was like they worked day and night without stopping. These two men were also important contributors to Feng's Hanization reform. While the Empress Dowager was living a happy life, the retired emperor was unhappy. He had been a proper emperor, but he lost his throne because of this stepmom, who was not his biological mom. The struggle between this stepmom and stepson never stopped. Finally, in June 476, the retired emperor, only 23 years old, suddenly died of a sudden illness. Most people believed that Feng was behind his death. But with the death of this troublesome son, Feng was finally free. She was promoted to Grand Empress Dowager. She even held parties with her two male favorites at night and worked together as a team to handle state affairs during the day. Even though these two officials had wives at home, it did not affect anything. Feng enjoyed the happiness brought by these handsome men while raising her grandson Tuo Bahong, Emperor Xianwen. The key point was that she had a very good relationship with Emperor Xianwen. Maybe it was because of his grandma's influence that Emperor Xianwen later fully promoted the Hanization reform of Northern Wei. Thanks to the efforts of this grandma and grandson, the nomadic people in the north successfully integrated with the Han civilization. In September 490, Feng passed away in the Taihe Hall of Pingcheng, the capital of Northern Wei. She was 49 years old. Emperor Xianwen held a funeral for her at the level of an emperor. He gave her the posthumous title Civilized Grand Empress Dowager and buried her in the Yonggu Mausoleum, which is now in the north part of Datong City, Shanxi Province. Zhao Yi, a scholar from the Qing dynasty, once said many emperors had hundreds of concubines. A powerful woman might only have a few male favorites.